Hello everybody, PsyStarcraft here with another another Heart of the Swarm commentary. It is a Zerg versus Zerg this time. My opponent is Omni in the bottom right. GL have fun QT Pi. Get it QT Pi, or you could do like 3.14. QT 3.14. This is not a live game. This is casted from a replay, as you can tell from the observer thing. Zerg versus Zerg on Whirlwind. I actually knew the map, and there wasn't even a button in the top right to click it. How jealous are you guys? So I think my speakers are broken. I guess you're probably not very jealous about that. Let's actually enable the music, because whenever I unplug my headphones, no sound comes out of my speakers. But it doesn't tell me that I unplugged a device from the audio jack, and so I'm thinking maybe there's just some gunk stuck in the headphone slot that makes it think they're always on. I'll have to check, but it kind of sucks. I mean, it just seems like things always go wrong, whether it's... What is that music? God, this music in Heart of the Swarm is so weird. It seems like something always goes wrong, whether it's like microphone problems, audio problems, frame rate problems. Speaking of that, my Bandicam thing, registration key expired, quote, air quotes, expired. So I've got to figure out how to get another Bandicam, quotes, license, unquote, yeah, you guys get what I'm saying. But on Whirlwind, because it is a 4-player map, I feel pretty safe in Zerg versus Zerg going a 15 hatch, as you can see here. Looks like we're both going to be going 15 hatches, but luckily my hatch is actually about a half a second sooner. If you can see, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. See, his is a whole second behind mine, actually, so this is actually going to give me a really big advantage. I actually did the math. If your hatch rate in a ZvZ, 15 hatches, more than a half a second ahead of the opponents, in about 10 minutes you're going to have at least 16 more drones than your opponent. The math does check out. I actually checked with Christopher Reeves, and he told me that, so cool little fact right there that you can tell all your friends. But it looks like he is going for a gas before pool, and my gas was before my pool. Actually, he might have gotten the gas and the pool at the same time, because it does look like my speed will be finishing sooner. You can see I've already mined 32 gas, whereas he has only mined about 12, and his pool is a little bit sooner. But I mean, when you assume your opponent's going to go 15 hatch, which is a pretty accurate assumption on a map like Whirlwind, you can go for like the very greedy, very tech-heavy builds and get away with it, and we're seeing that in this situation now. That doesn't mean I'm going to be able to like run by with all my lings and kill his entire base or anything like that, but I will have a slight scouting advantage and a slight map control advantage in the early game, which in ZvZ with all the baneling all-ins and busts and stuff like that, it can be a very relevant thing. So yes, that just was explained. Now if we check out what we are producing, my opponent actually isn't producing any Zerglings, so he's not really going to have a lot of scouting. He's going straight for the drones. Expect to see a spine crawler if he's going to forego the Zerglings altogether. And I want to see what he does with his gas. You notice he is staying on gas after the speed, so his mineral economy is going to be a bit weaker, but he's going to have more gas for tech and for mutas if he eventually decides to go them. He does throw down that baneling nest, but what this means for him is his third base is going to be slightly delayed, and he might not have as much ling power in the early game. That's what leaving those extra drones on gas does for you. And as you can see here, I did pull 2 drones off, and over the course of a couple of minutes, that actually gives you, 150, 200 minerals. It gives you quite a bit more than you would think. Down goes his spine. It's a bit late as well because he didn't pull off the gas. And we should be seeing my baneling nest. There we go. I like to get my baneling nest off of 1 drone on gas, and then shortly after I start that baneling nest, put more on gas so I can produce the necessary amount of banelings I might need. But we can see I am ahead a few in the harvester count, and again, that's because I did not remove from gas when my speed was started, and that's going to kind of add up over the game. So he's really kind of relying on being able to take a third base and hold it, and get mutas faster than me and have more mutas because of this extra gas. He's got 2150 mined right now, and if we look at me, I've got 2260, so it looks like he's about 130, 140 ahead of me, and that can actually make a really big difference. 1 muta, pretty big difference, but we're gonna have to see who makes what banelings, who decides to get a third faster. I mean, that's just a small little addition to the whole Zerg versus Zerg fighting, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the units tab here. In ZvZ, I feel like that's a really good one to look at. He is going to be able to snipe a couple of drones. I do have a spine, but it's a little bit out of position to protect my mineral line. Looks like he was able to kill just one worker, so that's not too bad. And if we look at the harvester count, I'm still up by 1 on the harvester count. Our layers are on the way, his being slightly ahead of mine this time. However, if we check out the gas, my main is up, and both of my naturals are up in the gas department. And thank you, Justicar. And so are his, but his were started a bit sooner. He's mined 20 out of them, I've mined about 40, so each little advantage that you can get in a ZvZ is always useful. 2 banelings on the way, and that's another advantage. Again, this has to do with the mineral economy and my drone count, where we are the same in the gas, but because I have more minerals in the early game, I can get more drones to get more minerals and get lings, and that's forcing all 4 of these banelings. Notice I've gotten 0 banelings, and he's gotten 4 banelings, and that's an entire muta right there, so I feel like I do have an advantage at this point just because he didn't manage his lings, he didn't manage his baneling count very well in the early game. Our spires are going to start the exact same time, and now look at the gas count. I've got 50 more gas than him, and I'm getting my 3rd sooner, so mineral economy really, really good unless you're an amazing player and you can tech fast and really make use of that early gas. So his 3rd is just now coming up, but he's only at 50 harvesters compared to my 55, or 36 harvesters compared to my 55. And if we look at the units and stuff like that, that all is pretty even. Pretty much the same amount of lings. I did get some banelings of my own just because I realized I was pretty far ahead. I figured I'd play it safe and just try to secure my advantage by preventing any type of this stuff, any crazy ling shenanigans. And he just can't afford a lot of lings. You can see the mineral count. He just can't afford a lot because his harvester count is so low because of the early gas. That's just kind of the theme I'm going back to. He is bringing out some banelings. Got to be careful with my lings. At this point, I'm happy trading 3 banes for 2 banes rather than try to micro it perfectly. I realize that's all he really has, and I don't have to worry about playing perfectly at that point. If we check that ling count, I'm still up by 8 on lings. If we check out the spires, our spires are finishing at the exact same time. We should be the production tabs shooting up with all those mutas. He's producing 7, I'm producing 6, but my gas is higher. I'm just waiting for larva to come out. He's going to try to keep on harassing with these lings. I've got some lings at my natural, some lings at my 3rd. I am going to be able to intercept him here. 3rd queen coming as well for me. I have prepared my gases. There are 3 on each. Oh no, what did I do? Ah! Go back. Fuck. Blooper reel. Blooper reel. I have prepared my gases as you can see here. So this, oh man, he hasn't even started his gases. You always need to start your gases before your 3rd base finishes. That is a huge, huge deal. This whole time I'm going to be mining 8 more gas every carry than him, and that's really going to throw him so far behind in the muta game. If he doesn't do something to damage his 3rd base, or catch my mutas off guard, or when I'm rallying poorly, then it's going to be a pretty straightforward win. And that's really the skill tester in ZvZ. I mean, there's not a lot of luck involved. Either you play well, you deny your opponent's 3rd, you deny their gas, or you just try to catch their mutas off guard. And if you don't do any of that and you're behind like this, it's very hard to come back, and especially this harvester count, man, that has just been so lopsided the whole game. And let's check out the units. Now 11 to 10, but in the production tab I do have 6, he only has 5, and it's just going to keep on getting higher and higher while these gases are not fully saturated. Not only that, but I just have so much more room for growth just because of all of my drones. So if you check out the units now, it's 14 to 10, and we're both producing 5. So I now have a 4 muta lead on him. Gonna try to get some damage done. I realized that his 3rd was a bit lacking in the gas department, and so I'm gonna try to be aggressive. Now, normally you don't want to be aggressive because your opponent has such a close rally point with his mutas, but I know that I've probably got about an even or better muta count even if I am aggressive. So I was trying to get a couple kills on his drones maybe, but I didn't want to get trapped, so I actually don't end up committing. You're gonna see me fly back here once I see those mutas. I'm like, okay, I know I already have an advantage, no need to throw it away like I have so many times before. I now have 4 muta advantage. I've got 68 drones, and spending my money very well. I am supply capped. If you look at the supply though, it's 128 to 90. And this is it's just spiraling out of control. I should be taking a 4th pretty soon, but 4th bases in Zerg versus Zerg is kind of weird to hold. Once again, denying more of his gas. and just kind of stacking up all of my advantages, just kind of stacking up towards this end game. Now 23 to 21 mutas. I think he might have killed one of my mutas, but not super relevant. I mean, still, he's not mining off of that third gas, and that's the most important factor in this game so far. We're both going for our second upgrades, and the supply is now 144 to 110. Getting a lot of lings with my excess minerals. You can see I've got 6 more lings than him, but it looks like I'm actually not spending my minerals as well as I could be. And he is going to catch 2 of my meters off guard, and this is exactly what I mean. This is what you can do to try to get back into the game in a Zerg versus Zerg. That wasn't him playing well, that was me making a mistake right there. I mean, I guess he was noticing that was there. And now he might be trying to capitalize on this. Look at this. I have 30 mutas. He had 23. He does lose a couple of them running away smartly, realizing that I have more mutas. He might want to stop and try to pick off those mutas that are ahead, but no, he isn't going to try that. And again, just weakening those mutas, picking a couple more off. 20 lings on the way now, so starting to spend my minerals a little bit better. Definitely could use a macro hatch at this point in a Zerg versus Zerg. And it's really just going to be Ling Muta against Ling Muta. And here we go, the final battle. If we check out the Muta count, if I didn't just remove all of that, it's 23 to 16 now. It started out much more lopsided. Neither of us have our +2 or our +1 attack. And just that small Muta advantage, as well as Lings underneath your Mutas to soak up the bounces from the glaives, is going to secure me the win. So I think this is a pretty fundamental game. It's how you beat weaker players fairly straightforwardly. Is that even a word? He did choose to not pull off the gas. As a result, I got a mineral advantage, which led to me getting my third sooner, having a little bit more Zergling aggression, which forced some banelings out of him, which basically negated the gas advantage that he had in the early game. And then you saw the pressure I put on his third, and I played it safe enough and was able to take the win. So I hope you guys learned from this. Pretty standard ZvZ Ling Muta versus Ling Muta, and that's going to be it. So as always, thanks for watching.